Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Creating Hanley. I am Kimberly at Creating Hanley, and we are bringing you, or I am bringing you, another version of the Ohio Star Block. So in the previous Ohio Star Block video, part 1, we did this, and this is now complete. You can see I put together the quilt top. I think I ended the video, and it was just in the 9 patches. So now this is complete together. I did not sandwich it and quilt the top. I just made the quilt top of it. So a quilt video will be in the future somewhere. But you can see that this is a fancy, this is a fancy Ohio Star. There are 4 different colors in here. So we have white as the background. We have red for our triangles here. We have this patriotic red, white, and blue star above that surrounds the center blue that I have blue here. So that's 4 different and they're all cotton, but they're 4 different colors or 4 different patterns of to make up the Ohio Star. However, you don't have to do that, and I'm going to show you a simpler version today, only using 2 colors. So we are only using red and white today. So let's back this up here. Yeah, so in the previous video, if you didn't watch it, I highly recommend go watch it. It is a long video, but I talk about the history of the Ohio Star, a little bit of the history of the Ohio Star block. So if you actually go to do a little research on the state flag, the USA Ohio state flag, their flag colors are red, white, and blue. So I thought I'll pay homage to Ohio and do red, white, and blue. Now, it could be the United States of America for all intents and purposes, but I would recommend go researching the Ohio state flag and look at what it's called. It has a special name and the design on it, so it's pretty cool. But anyway, I wanted to kind of like not recreate it at all, but just kind of pay homage. It's the Ohio state flag, so I'm trying to use the Ohio state colors. Now, for the official Ohio state colors, they used Buckeye blue. They used cardinal red, and just a plain white. Now, I used the whitest white that I could possibly find. Now, what I have found with this red is that it bleeds, and it bleeds a lot. So if you look over here, right here on my ironing board, where I ironed and where I used water and where I used a lot of steam, that red bled through. So that means that if you put this in your star block, your quilt along, your Sew a Year Full of Stars quilt along, quilt as you go, Sew a Year Full of Stars, star block, it may bleed. So just know that if you're using colors that bleed in that block, in that whole quilt, use a bunch of color catchers in the laundry, or maybe choose colors that don't bleed. Or wash your fabric first. So there are those options that you can do. Now, I know this is September and a little late in saying that, but because of that, I'm probably not going to include this block in my Sew a Year Full of Stars. However, I have to look back at all the other ones to see what red that I included and to see if it bleeds. So what I'm probably going to do is create a little mini Ohio Star, like a little offshoot Ohio Star block quilt or bag or something, a little Ohio Star block project. But we're gonna use this same pattern, but I'm only using 2 colorways, a simple red and a simple white. So we're gonna still use, now if you saw my other video, we're gonna still use this, and I added a little more detail to it. So in my previous video, I didn't have all this stuff, but if you do a 4 colorway, I did white is A, red is B, this 3rd color right here for these little triangles is C, and then the middle is D. So these are the dimensions that you need for A. You need 4 4.5 squares and 1 6-inch square. For B, you need 2 6-inch squares. For C, you need 1 6-inch square, and for D, you need 1 4.5-inch square. And follow that video, and that shows you how to put this together. But for this video, don't follow this exactly. We still need 4 6-inch squares and 5 4.5-inch squares, but we need them in different amounts. So for the red, I use two 6-inch squares, and for the white, I use two 6-inch squares. So that makes the hourglass here. That makes that hourglass. And then this is the center block, the 4.5, and then these four are still the four corners. So I'm still using the same concept, okay? So we're gonna set aside all of our 4.5-inch squares because we don't need those until the very end. So you know, and if you watched the previous video, we're just making our hourglass squares. Now these 6 inches will trim down to 4.5, and they should be perfect. All right, so let's get to it. So you remember to put right sides together. Now, if you're using a fabric that really doesn't have a right side, then it probably doesn't matter too much. So just make sure that they are perfectly aligned up on top of each other so that you don't have any miscalculation when you're sewing. Okay. And then I'm going to use the lighter. Now, you don't have to use it in the same way I am. You can use a dark background and a light foreground if you choose. And again, you don't have to draw on your fabric if you have a measuring utensil that you're using for your. Those of you who are what I want to say, seasoned, that's it, seasoned veteran sewists, quilters, you probably won't need to do this step to draw. But if you just want to make extra sure that you're getting the right alignment, then I suggest drawing a line. This line is going to be your cut line. You want to sew a 1/4 inch on both sides of this line. So I'm going to move my heat source out of the way, bring the camera over here. Not really that you can see it all that well, but I'm going to use a leader so that my point doesn't accidentally how do I want to do this? Like this. Now I'm going to follow the next square right in there. This is called chain piecing. And then I'm not cutting my piece, although I might use another. No, I'm not going to use a leader. I'll just do the same thing here. It should be all right. Come down. There we go. The 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm just following that line. The line is my cut line, and then my sew line is a 1/4 inch off of that drawn line on both sides, like so. Now I can cut my thread, cut the leader, and cut these apart. If you like, you don't even have to do that. And I'm going to take it over to the cutting surface and line this up. And then we're gonna, we are going to iron those open. Now, I always iron to the dark side, because you always want to iron to the dark side. No, I don't know. Just weird. So anyway, we iron to the dark side because I'm using white, and there's going to be a forever shadow if I don't iron to the dark side. So that's why I'm doing that. But you don't have to, and sometimes it's unavoidable. So you can see, no shadow behind it. No shadow. All right. So do that 4 times. Each one gets its own. And I know this is the boring part, and I really wish I could edit through this very quickly, but unfortunately, I do everything raw and unscripted. And so it is super authentic in that regard. Yeah, nothing is ever... I usually don't script anything that I say. I have something, an idea in my head, but I don't really follow any script. So you could probably tell. All right, now, it doesn't matter which one you use. So you're going to take these and go the opposite. So take your finished square and go red over white and white over red and nest to the seams right here. Make sure that they meet right in the middle, because if they don't meet that, your points are not going to touch. So for example, this point right here, wait, where is it? Has a gap. That's because I didn't meet these two very well. Okay, so if you want to make sure that your points match, then you want to make sure that these meet up right here the whole way, nesting perfectly. And because you ironed your, just like so, right? Because you ironed your seams to the dark side, they should match perfectly. So I'm just kind of hoping and praying that that is where it should be. All right, so I'm just going to hope and pray that is where it should be. And then you can, again, if you want to, create a line. Now, this looks a little wonky, and so already my corners don't meet here. So I'm not sure that this is going to be 100% on, but we're going to do this anyway. Okay. And then because I know the seam flips up like this, I'm going to turn this around so when I sew, it doesn't get tripped up in the machine. All right, so let's do the same thing to the other side. So right sides together, white over red, red over white, meet, nest the seams, meet the corners. And try to line it up as best as possible. And it may take this much time. It may take you a lot less time than it's taking me, but I always get things wonky. So I'm trying to make everything as squared up on this go through as I can. All right, so again, I need a little extra visual guide. So I am making this line, and this pencil is not cooperating. Oh my goodness, guys. I'm gonna switch in the pen. Pencil's not working. I'm switching the pen, and that one fell to the floor. So let's grab this one. All right. Much smoother. There we go. All right. So bring this back in here. My leader. There we go. 1/4 inch. Now on the other side, I know this is flipping up. I can feel it. So you want to make sure that that seam allowance stays flipped down on the other side. And that one's going to be wonky. Already I can tell that's wonky. I went off the line on the red. Alright, and switch it around. There we go. Nice. Okay. And cut the thread. Super. So. Now, do you have to cut that? No. Take it back over to the cutting surface. And they should be opposites at this point. Or you can just, you don't have to cut it with your rotary cutter. You can always cut it with your scissors, which sometimes is a little easier. It's up to you. There we go. Now, we open it up and it should be, uh-oh, I did not meet my center, guys. I missed that again. I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to open the seams and iron with the seams opened. Because there's a lot of bulk at this point. All right, where's my... Okay, so that's what you want to do there. So now it looks like this. So seams are open and that's what it looks like. So again, take that. So that's why it took so much time to make sure these met. And obviously I did not do a good enough job there. So that's going to happen on all of them. That's going to happen on all of them. Yep. On all of them. So, one of the things that could have happened there is that I sewed the... So another thing that can happen is that I did not follow 100% a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So that could be it too. I did not follow a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So that may have happened. They could have been perfectly nested, but because my sew line was not 100% 1/4 inch, you know what? I'm just, whatever. Because my seam allowance was not 100% 1/4 inch, that's what happened. Okay, so I'm not even going to worry about opening up these unless I can get this one. If this one goes a little easier, maybe I'll do this one, but the other one, not going to worry about it. Okay, so, yeah, so these seams are just a pain in the butt. Opening up the seams is always a pain. So at some point, I'm just going to give up and just let it do its thing. I'm not going to force the fabric. If it doesn't want to go that way, I'm not going to push it. So there we go. So there's, there are our 4 blocks now. Take it over to your cutting surface. And we are going to trim these up to 4.5 inches. So you guys can see this, right? Let me bring this over a little bit better, although you still can't see it. But what I'm going to do is take my, this is just a plain OmniGrid. I'm not sponsored or anything, but I'm just going to place, because this line is broken. See, this line has that space in there. I'm going to use this line as my 45. So I'm going to place my 45 line right on that straight line, so I know that at least that is correct. And then I'm going to measure my 4.5 inches on here. So I'm going to take it to the 1 and 1, 1 inch and 1 inch. And line up my 45 and line up the 1 and 1 on the edge. And I'm going to have a little bit of an overhang, and I'm going to see how much. And this is actually measures 5 inches. So because it measures 5 inches, I know I have a whole inch I can play with. So I'm going to bring it up to a 4.5. Wait. I don't. I almost did this wrong, guys. It's not 4 inches. It's 4.5 inch. Take your square, trim it to 4.5. So it measures, mine measures at 5 inches. I'm going to trim off 1/4 inch on one side or on two sides and then 1/4 inch on the other two sides. Okay? Don't, oh, I almost made a mistake there, but I caught myself. Okay. So let's bring it back down here. So you can see I'm going to cut off 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch. Line up that straight line. And hold it tight because there is a lot of bulk. There is a lot of bulk and it makes your square wonky. So if you want to use a weight or if you have those sticky, I don't know what they're called, like sticky gems, you can use those. All right, so there's that. And this may take a little bit of time to get it right for all 4. So because I cut off 1/4 inch on this side and this side, I'm going to take my final measurement to 4.5 and 4.5 using the 45 straight in the center. Okay, so 4.5, 4.5, and 45. So that keeps everything squared up. All right. And again, hold it tight. It is prone to slide around. Okay. And because there are a lot of seams, I'm just going to scissor it. And there you go. That's the 4.5 inch block. So do all 4 of those in this manner. Okay. And here's the part where I wish I could magically fast forward, but I cannot. So, let's see, this is even bigger than 5 inches. This is 5.5 inches. So obviously what I did was 5 1/4 and 5, well, yeah, 5 1/4, 5 1/4. So I obviously lost a bunch in sewing a wonky seam allowance from the beginning. Okay. Oops. Didn't mean for that to happen. Now, I need, where am I going here? What is going on? This one. So where's my 4.5? Where's my 4.5? 4.5 and 4.5. Okay, there we go. No. This one's gonna be, I'm gonna have to redo this one a couple times. This looks a little wonky, super wonky. So I'm gonna trim that this way, and then I'm gonna trim it this way. You know, guys, just when I thought, oh, I'm gonna do a quick video, it's only 2 colors, it should be fine. Yeah, it's only 2 colors, it should be fine. It's not fine. Now, I need the 4.5 and the 4.5. Here's a 4.5 and here's a 4.5. Wow, is that right? Okay. 4.5 and 4.5. That is right. Okay. All right. That took a long time to get there, but we got there. All right, there's another one. And again, use the line that's unbroken. And this star is, yeah, star. Listen to me. Pretty big too, so I'm just going to take off this much and spin it around. Defeats the purpose of using my twirling mat if I pick it up. Alright, now where's the 4.5? 1.5 right here and here. Okay, I'm going to have to trim this one again. Also. And the reason why is if you see right here, this is not going to meet. So I know I have to trim that up a little bit more. And that is why I'm doing that. So if you're questioning, well, why is she doing that? That is why. So 4.5 and 1, 2, 3, 4.5. 4.5 there. 4.5 there. The 45 mark. There we go. I'll trim it up again. Okay. Now, we still have that a little bit off, but that's, oh well, that's at the 40, that's it. That's at the 4.5 inch mark. So, tis going to have to be, and, measure this at 4.5. So here's 4.5, here's the 45 mark, and here's 4.5. And there we go. All right, and there's that. Okay, so now we just made our hourglass blocks. Our hourglass blocks, right? Hourglass. Either way, it's an hourglass. Now it's simple. Now you just put your 9 patch together, just like we did last time. Uh-oh, I hear a kitty. So we're going to do... let's do this. I hear a kitty. Where's Sabrina? Are you coming to say hi, Sabrina? All right, guys. And there it is. There is your Ohio star. Super simple right there. Okay? Easy. Easy peasy. Now you just sew your rows together, sew your columns together, and you've completed your 9 patch quilt block. How easy is that, right? Super easy. So one thing you can do, and this is a Ohio star, the way this is laid out right here. Another thing you can do, you can play with this a little bit. Maybe you want to create something like this going on. Right? Now check that out. Now that creates a diamond in the center. And then imagine if you have another block on the side here, you could put, say, like another block like this. And that creates a little diamond. And then it'll create another big diamond. And then another little diamond. Another big diamond. That's pretty sweet, don't you think? I love it. I love it. I love it. So, yeah. So do whatever you want with your star block there. I am going to sew them like this. And so I'm going to leave it up to you to put it together however you want. So there you go. There is your Ohio star block. Now, if you're new to sewing and you're not sure what to do at this point, sew your rows together. So explode these up a little bit and then sew these together. So put the right sides together, sew along here, open this up, put this side on, sew along here. And now you have this row. Okay? Do the same thing here. Right sides together, open that up, sew that on, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then that is complete. And then you sew this on here, right sides together, right, along that line, and right side together on here, right there, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now you have all these rows. And now you flip your row like this, and sew along right where these would meet, 1/4 inch seam allowance. And so now this is a unit, and now you flip this over onto here, right? You put this whole unit on here, so 1/4 inch seam allowance, and now you've created your entire Ohio Star block. That is the the dual color Ohio Star block. Have fun creating, and yeah, if you want to play with it, maybe make a couple like this. See how that works in your schema, and go from there. I love it, guys. All right. Thanks for sewing along today. You have a fun time making this quilt block, and I'll see you on the next one. The next one is actually going to be 3 colors. So I'm going to do this again with 3 colors. So the first one was 4 colors. This one was a 2-color scheme, and the next video I'm going to do a 3-color. Which 3 colors? You'll have to see. All right, guys. Bye for now.